For the very first time in cinema history, I think we can all agree that this movie is 100 times better than the 2016 Suicide Squad film. So if you agree with me, let's head on over to the review. Welcome back, film fans. This is Let's Be Real with Brad. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new DC Comics superhero film called The Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is written and directed by James Gunn, and it is a standalone sequel to the 2016 Suicide Squad film. Before we get into the review itself, let's dive into the 2016 Suicide Squad film, because I think it's very important to talk about when we're going to be talking about this film, because this movie set the standard of what a Suicide Squad movie can be. And when we think about Suicide Squad, we think of the 2016 version and how bad that movie was. It just goes to show that it is all about who is writing the film and who is directing the film. When you add James Gunn's charismatic writing and when you add his great passion and style to the movie, you get a wonderful, hilarious, and exciting movie that is The Suicide Squad, and I absolutely loved this movie. So let's get right into the positives first, and we're going to start with the direction. James Gunn's direction here is truly fantastic. I thought all the shot selections in this movie were so charismatically interesting, exciting. There is a couple times where it feels like a reality show, where there's times where it like zooms in on certain characters that obviously went for humor, and I thought it was hilarious. Now let's get right into the screenplay, and this is where the movie shines, because if you ever seen a movie by James Gunn, you know it's going to be a good movie, because he truly does care about his characters, the source material, and even making the source material better. Because there are many times in this movie that the story goes into different places and that the movie itself isn't told in a chronological order, and it actually works in benefit and creates more tension, especially when we get into the third act of the movie, which I was really impressed of how the film was presented. One last thing I want to say about the writing is that James Gunn knows how to write female characters in the best way possible. He doesn't over-sexualize them, he makes them very interesting, and he makes them a very important part of the story. James Gunn, if you're watching this video, thank you for giving great female representation in your films. The next thing I want to talk about is the acting. I think the acting all around is extremely strong, with Idris Elba, Viola Davis, John Cena, and even Sylvester Stallone as King Shark. Everyone in this movie is fantastic, and that is just due to James Gunn's amazing direction, being able to get amazing performances out of every single one of these actors. The next positive I have with this movie is the visual effects. The visual effects in this movie are stunning. This was made on a $185 million budget, and I don't want to knock over Jungle Cruise and its $200 million budget, but when you compare the two, The Suicide Squad looks 100 times better. The fact that they had two CGI characters like Weasel, which is one of my favorite characters, and King Shark, and being able to have actors being able to work with these CGI characters even though they had actors standing in for them, looks so damn impressive. The next positive I have with this movie is the music. As we see with something like Guardians 1 and Guardians 2, James Gunn is so good at incorporating music, as in that movie, he wrote the movie having the music in place already, and I don't know if he did the same thing with this movie, but it feels like it is, because the music is placed perfectly in so many moments of the movie. I love the score that I thought was excellent. Tyler Bates is normally the composer who works with James Gunn on his movies, but John Murphy came in and stole the show with the score that I thought was electric, exciting, and just blasted those IMAX speakers. And the last positive I can give this movie is the violence and the humor. This is one of the funniest movies of the entire year. I could even say the funniest movie, as the jokes are so good in this movie. I thought that James Gunn is able to write the most clever, interesting, and insane comedy that you wouldn't even think of, that works purposeful for the story, and it just makes sense, and it actually works for the characters as well. When we're talking about the violence, it is extremely brutal, it is bloody, it is gruesome, and there are times where characters just get ripped apart with blood going everywhere. As having a rated R superhero movie that is done right and isn't just focused on being inappropriate, this movie worked for me so damn well. I never thought the violence was overly distracting or trying to take place of the movie and the story itself. So we're gonna start off with the villains, and I think the villains in this movie are quite weak. I really don't care about the subplot that they have going on, that I don't want to spoil just in case you don't know what the subplot is for these villains, but I thought they were completely uninteresting. And my last negative is with the story. There are many moments where there are some exposition that's thrown into the movie to explain what's going on, but I wish that the story itself felt as important as the characters, but it's something that I can forgive on later rewatches because the characters are so great. So overall, guys, The Suicide Squad is an entertaining, bloody, gruesome, and exciting movie that fulfills everything that I wanted as a standalone sequel to the 2016 Suicide Squad movie. This is a superhero movie that is made for everybody, for the comic book nerds, the cinephiles like myself, and the average person who may not care about superhero movies, because James Gunn made a great movie, and I hope you guys check it out. I'm going to be giving The Suicide Squad an 8 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you want to, and ring that notification bell so I can see you guys in the next video.